Thank you very much. Peace be upon you, dear students. الدرس 12 تتمة الدرس 11 Walt Disney, dear students. So, peace be upon you, 7th graders, and I hope that you are very well and studying your lessons. Today we are going to read an article about an innovative man who was able to achieve success and overcome all obstacles and become one of the most famous animators in the world. So Walt Disney was one of the most famous people ever to have lived. Why? Because he was able to overcome every challenge in his life, every obstacle, every difficult situation, and he finally reached his success. Now he has touched the lives of millions of children and adults. So not only children loved him, but also adults, all people. And he became a household name, as I told you. So he holds the record, the highest level for winning the most Academy Awards or prizes. And he received about 26 awards in his life or prizes, because he has done something extraordinary. Something that no one can do. Now, he was innovative, he was creative, he was imaginative. He had always had new ideas to start again. He didn't give up, though his difficult circumstances. Now, innovative film producer. So he was an artist, he was innovative film producer and animator. So we are talking about we are reading an article about the life of an artist and a magnificent animator. He created some of the most successful characters. So he invented some of successful characters, movies and theme parks. Pay attention, theme parks, as I'll show you in the illustration or the photo below, of the 20th century. So here we have a photograph of Walt Disney working in his studio. Pay attention here, he was drawing one of his famous animated cartoon characters in his studio. Now let's read the second paragraph in this article. And here we'll talk about the birthplace. And here, Disney was born in 1901. So pay attention and learn and memorize the date of the birth of this brilliant man. Disney was born in 1901 in Chicago. So you know, dear students, United States consists of about 50 states. And here, Chicago is one of the biggest cities in America. We can say that it's the third biggest city in the United States after Los Angeles and New York. So it is a big city, very big city in the state of Illinois. He was born there in 1901 or 1901. He developed a great love. So when he was a youngster, when he was a boy, he developed a great love and interest in drawing. He had a strong feeling, a strong desire to draw and become a famous artist from his childhood. He had this dream and he was able to achieve it, though all of his difficult conditions or circumstances. So when he was 10, when he was a youngster, he discovered the world of theater and cinema and fell in love with it. So he loved cinema, films, and this world of animation or animated films. He became the cartoonist. So what was his job? He was a cartoonist. He was an animator for his high school newspaper. Now pay attention to the dates. In 1920, he set up. What is the meaning of set up? He started. So he started his own animation company, as we watched in the short video that we watched earlier. And his Laughogram, and after a little period, after a little while, I'll read with you a fact file about this studio, which is now called Laughogram. Cartoons became very popular. So this studio that was Laughogram, it is a studio and I'll show you a photo of this studio in the year 2010. Became very popular after this artist used this studio to start making his animated films. Now here, Walt Disney as an infant in the year 1902, when he was only 1 year old. He was 1 year old. This is the photograph when he was 1 year old. Now here, Walt Disney birthplace. Of course, here we are talking about the house where he lived when he was an infant. But here we are talking about a lot of a change over time to this house and a lot of restoration. So this is the house or the birthplace where Walt Disney lived. And this is from the inside of this house. So this photograph is from the inside of this house. Now here, another photo from the inside of this house, the birthplace of Walt Disney, our hero, our celebrity, our famous animator. And here is the city of Chicago in the state of Illinois in the United States of America. Another photo that shows Chicago River, and here we have those bridges for pedestrians. So this is the river of Chicago. And here another brilliant photo of the Cloud Gate in Chicago's Millennium Park. So this is called the Cloud Gate in Millennium Park in Chicago, as you can see in the photograph here. Now I told you that I'll tell you about Laugh-O-Gram, the studio where he started drawing his animations. So Laugh-O-Gram Studio was a short-lived film studio located in Kansas. So where is it located? In Kansas City in Missouri. Missouri is another state in the United States of America. Now the studio played a role in the early years, pay attention, in the early years of animation. It was home to many of the pioneers. Pioneers are the first people who used to draw animations. So pioneers of animation brought there by Walt Disney. So he hired them and they draw with him their first animated films. And it's said to be the place. So this is the place where Disney had the inspiration to create his famous cartoon character Mickey Mouse. So it has a great reference, a great importance in the life of Walt Disney. So pay attention, this is the photo of Laugh-O-Gram in the year 2010, and you can see these pictures about Walt Disney on its walls. Now this is a fact file about this studio, Laugh-O-Gram, in August 2010. So industry film studio, fate, bankruptcy. As I told you in the videos, always his company went bankrupt. So here we are talking about bankruptcy, but he didn't give up and he always outdid himself and started from the beginning in order to reach his goals and aims in life. Now successor, the Walt Disney Company, Disney Brothers Cartoon Studio, now Walt Disney Animation Studio. Successors are people who has the job of someone who left. Now founded, not founded. Now who founded this studio and when? When? In the year 1921, before 99 years. Who is the founder? Walt Disney. Now another paragraph in our article, Disney wanted more and so he moved to Hollywood. As I told you in the first part of this lesson, after he faced a failure in his life, he wanted to move to another place, and that destination was Hollywood at that time because it's the most important place where American films are made. And he developed a character based on a pet mouse he once had. So his famous character was a pet mouse he once had, and he gave this mouse his voice and personality. So he gave this mouse his voice and personality, his traits, okay, his characteristics. Now Disney's wife, very important news, Disney's wife named or called this mouse Mickey. So it was called Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse, the most famous cartoon character ever. Now Disney put Mickey in his first movie with sound. Pay attention, first movie with sound, and it was called Steamboat Willie. By 1930, Mickey Mouse was the world's most popular cartoon character, and Walt Disney was a household name, so it was the cause of his fame, Mickey Mouse cartoon. After all the previous failures. Now Steamboat Willie is a 1928 American animated short film directed by Walt Disney. So who directed this short animated film? He was Walt Disney. It was produced in black and white. So it was in black and white. And Walt Disney Studios. Now Steamboat Willie was the third of Mickey's films to be produced, but was the first to be distributed. And here is an illustration of this film. And here is the most famous character of Walt Disney, Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse here. Now, another paragraph, or the last paragraph in our article, following on from Mickey's success, Disney created characters such as Donald Duck, Goofy, and Pluto. So, the most famous cartoon character was Mickey Mouse. Here we are talking about other films. Here we can talk about Donald Duck, Goofy, and Pluto. He then produced animated feature-length version. Pay attention, when I talk about feature-length version, here I want to tell you about long films that lasted for 90 minutes or more. So feature-length version means a film that lasts for about 90 minutes. And it was at that time Snow White, and you all know Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So Snow White, which was the most successful movie, and it was produced in the year 1938. And tens more movies followed, came after this film, I mean Snow White, including Fantasia and Bambi. So Fantasia and Bambi were other copies, other versions of Snow White, and that means they were long films or feature-length version of Snow White. Now Disney built up a global entertainment empire. So he founded a global entertainment empire or organization for amusement, for entertainment, for pleasure, for joy, including his Disneyland theme park. Pay attention. He didn't only draw and produce animated films. He was always a creative man, innovative man, imaginative man. He had always new ideas. So he had always had the ideas of theme parks, the place where you can find all kinds of pleasure and enjoyment or entertainment. And here is one of his Disney parks or Disneyland in the United States of America. He died because of cancer, and you know cancer is a fatal disease and no one can avoid the disease. So the inevitable result of this disease is this. So he died in the year 1966 after he achieved all his goals and aims in this life. So this is a photo, a Magic Kingdom, Disney World or Disneyland. This is a photo of this Disneyland parks, of Disneyland parks. Now, after all, I need you to answer this activity at home. Match the following phrases from the article. So, he has touched, and here the verbs in the past simple or other forms are in green color for you in order to revise the verb tenses. When we want to talk about actions happened at specific time in the past, we only use the past simple tense. So, and here we can use also the present perfect when we refer to actions happened and when the time is unspecific or unknown or not important to know when this action happens. So he has touched that, and you will match them with the other parts in the second chart. So he has touched the. You will find the complement or the rest of this sentence. He was an innovative film. He developed a great love of. He fell in love with the word of. He set up his. He developed a character based. He gave the mouse his own. Walt Disney was. He produced an animated feature-length version of. Disney built up, and most of the forms are in the past simple because we are talking about actions happened at a specific time in the past. And here we can use also, as I told you, the present perfect when the date is unknown or not important. So please match the first part of the phrases with the second parts in this chart and the other part of the chart. Now this is the answers, but I'll show you the answers later. Now activity 2, answer the following questions please. Would you like to have met Walt Disney? Why? What questions would you like to have asked Walt Disney? What did you learn from this text about Walt Disney? This is very important. Now, and the last question is writing task. Please write a paragraph of no less than 75 words on a celebrity, very famous person you admire. You can write about Walt Disney or Elvis Presley or any other celebrity or a famous man. This is everything for today. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye for now. Don't hesitate to ask me questions between 6 and 8 p.m. dear students. Thank you very much.